Hello, friends. Wonderful greetings of the day to all of you. Now, today we would discuss another important aspect for the economics of our motherland. Our forex reserves are actually depleting at a very rapid rate and they have reached over the 2-year low level. This point is of crucial importance and this requires the attention of all the concerned departments, the RBI in particular, as it is responsible for formulating and implementing the fiscal and the monetary policies. Now, how to attain the optimum level of forex reserves? This is directly dependent on the current account deficit. As the current account deficit widens, this would automatically lead to the reduction of our forex reserves. Now, before beginning today's topic, we would like to elaborate how our country has been able to survive itself and also lend a helping hand to other countries of the globe in these turbulent global scenarios, be it the COVID pandemic, be it the Ukraine-Russia war, be it the chaotic global environment, but we have been able to survive ourselves and lend a helping hand to other countries. For instance, Sri Lanka, who was going through the political and economic turmoil recently, we have been able to help it thrive again, help it stand again. And all the countries of the world are actually appreciating our leadership. One point is very noteworthy, that we are a developing country, but still, despite of that, we have been able to create laurels, and this has been possible only because of our far-sighted approach adopted by the leaders who govern us. So this point should be kept in mind, and we should be very proud of our present leadership. Now, coming back to today's topic, that is depleting forex reserves. So let's study this particular aspect in detail. India's forex reserves fall to over 2-year low of $532.66 billion. The fall in the foreign exchange reserves can basically be attributed to a fall in the foreign currency assets, that is FCA, which is a major component of the overall reserves, according to the weekly statistical supplement released by the RBI. So the foreign currency assets dropped $4.41 billion to $472.81 billion for the same period. Gold reserves fell $281 million to $37.61 billion. India's foreign exchange reserves fell by $4.85 billion to $532.66 billion for the week ending September 30, according to the data released by the Reserve Bank of India. So the foreign exchange reserves fell to the lowest level since July 2020 and also marked the 9th consecutive week of fall. Hence, it requires the urgent attention of the concerned departments. The fall in the foreign exchange reserves can basically be attributed to a fall in the foreign currency assets, which is a major component of the overall reserves, according to the weekly statistical supplement released by the RBI. Foreign currency assets dropped $4.41 billion to $472.81 billion for the same period. Gold reserves fell by $281 million to $37.61 billion. Expressed in dollar terms, FCA consists of the effect of appreciation or depreciation of the non-US units as well, like the euro, pound, and yen held in the foreign exchange reserves. This point is also very important because since it's a global economy and everything is interrelated, all the major currencies with which the international trade is being carried out across the globe. So the appreciation or this depreciation happening in them would directly impact the economies of the globe, and hence India would also suffer. So this is what mentioned here, which I would like to repeat. Expressed in dollar terms, FCA consists of the effect of appreciation or depreciation of non-US units as well, like the euro, pound, and yen held in the foreign exchange reserves. Even though US dollar is the predominant currency across the globe, but these currencies, that is euro, pound, and yen, would also have the significant impact on the overall functioning of the economy. The rupee breached the key 82 per dollar level today, that is 7th October 2022. This is a very important point as well, because the falling rupee is also another area which requires urgent action by the concerned departments. India's spot forex reserves have fallen from $607 billion in end March and depleted by $110 billion from $642.453 billion seen on September 3 last year. Even though these statistics basically tell us that this requires the urgent attention of the concerned departments in our country, but we should also keep in mind that we are outperforming other countries as well. These times are turbulent in the global scenario, so obviously the economies would get affected because it's an open global economy, but we are outperforming other countries. So the intensity with which our country has got affected in this turmoil, in this tough time, it is much lesser as compared to other countries, and we should try to maintain this level, right? This can only be done by a peaceful and stable state of mind. Then only we can be able to trust the steps being taken by our leaders. Correct? Now let's come back again. Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das last week said the central bank's forex reserves umbrella has continued to remain strong despite uncertainty in the markets. He said the RBI has been intervening in the forex market based on continuous assessment of the prevailing and evolving situations. Das said about 67% of the decline in reserves during this financial year that started April 1 is basically due to the valuation changes arising from an appreciating US dollar and higher US bond yields. The governor also said that there was an accretion of $4.6 billion to the foreign exchange reserves on the balance of payments basis during the quarter 1 2022-23. Deutsche Bank recently said that India's overall foreign exchange reserves will deplete further this year due to a ballooning current account deficit and interventions by the central bank to support the rupee, which today tumbled past 81 per dollar to a record low. So these particular 2 points, the level of our rupee, the level of our currency is also going low. Our current account deficit is widening, which is leading to the reduction of the forex reserves. Hence, this requires attention. Urgent measures need to be implemented to curb this particular scenario. So the currency posted its worst week since April last year, shedding 1.6% with most of the losses in the past two trading sessions. The foreign exchange reserves could fall to $510 billion even in a worst case scenario if the current account deficit widens to 4% during the financial year 2023, estimates IDFC First Bank. Still, we would be better off than the taper tantrum period of May 2013 when reserves were less than $300 billion. So this was today's session, which basically talked about the lowering forex reserves of our country, which is basically due to the widening current account deficit. The balance of payments aspect also needs to be discussed in detail. It needs the urgent attention of the concerned departments. And the aspect is the lowering value of the rupee, that is rupee depreciation. This was today's session, and also another important point is, since this is a global open economy, so the turbulence, so basically the chaos happening on one side would directly affect the economies across the globe. So the proactive approach is the basic need of the hour. When there is the slight fluctuation in the core parameters of the economics of the country, that requires the urgent attention by the concerned departments. Now, what is the responsibility of our citizens in this particular scenario? The concerned departments will take the necessary measures, right, be it through the economic policies or through modifying the fiscal and monetary policies. Now, this would obviously, and this is the current scenario where we need to focus more on these aspects. So the other aspects of the economy, like rising prices, inflation, or other particular things in which the normal public, the peace of the normal public gets hampered. We need to overcome this particular times through a stable mindset. We need to accept that this is the tough time. So this requires the cooperation by all the citizens of the country. We have to face certain things, right? So we need to give full cooperation to the government, to all the ministries, be the economic ministries and be the financial ministries. We need to give full cooperation to them with a long-term and far-sighted visionary approach. So this was today's session. Jai Hind.